What the heck? Who came up with this story idea? What are you doing? Why can't you follow a consistent line?
Get 'em, boy!
Some days ago I put out this post asking everyone to participate in well, let me read this again. Narrate your 5-minute story idea in the comments below. So what I was trying to do is get everybody who is an old Mortal Kombat fan or a fan of the old Mortal Kombat games from a long time ago. And we're all unhappy with how NRS has continued the legacy of Mortal Kombat. They haven't handled it well, and they've actually ruined it. They've completely lost their way. They've lost the plot. They lost the soul of Mortal Kombat with their bad choices, bad design ideas, just overall terrible direction from Ed Boon, Warner Brothers. They've lost Mortal Kombat. And so I, as a fan of Mortal Kombat, I often have this idea of thinking up my own Mortal Kombat stories, like how Armageddon should have continued on to MK9, or how MK11 should have ended. If you're looking for my ideas are over here, in this video right here. Netherrealm Studios is weak. So in this video I talk about my ideas for how I think Mortal Kombat should have continued on. Anyway, where was I? So I had a bunch of submissions from everybody, and I'd love to narrate them right now because you can see in the fans of Mortal Kombat how they really are true fans of the old Mortal Kombat, because the way they direct the continuation of Mortal Kombat. Let me just read them, you'll see. So we'll start off with number 1. And it was this comment that gave me the idea to create the post to ask everybody their stories, because it's really good. So KGees1542 says that Shang should have won in MK11, making MK1 a story within the evil timeline. The new Liu Kang you mentioned should fight through certain curses and bosses to reach Shang Tsung, MK tournament style in gameplay. That's a great idea. Already just one sentence is a great idea already. After each boss is defeated, maybe in that universe, you absorb their souls and power, making Liu Kang powerful enough to be a challenge. Eventually, when faced by Shang the Titan, Liu Kang from the alternate universe in MK11 interrupts and fuses with the evil timeline universe's Liu Kang, creating a Titan. Then they battle in the evil timeline for dominance, eventually agreeing on the old ancient rules of Mortal Kombat, restarting the tournament and moving on to MK2. I'm not going to read my comment down there, but I know I said something like this. When I read the last part where it says, and then they battle in the evil timeline for dominance, eventually agreeing on the old ancient rules of Mortal Kombat. Every single time I read that sentence, the scene comes in my head where I'm imagining Liu Kang and Shang Tsung talking to each other, and then when someone says the words Mortal Kombat, you hear the theme song in the background go Mortal Kombat, and it's just sick, man. It reminds me of the scene in Mortal Kombat Annihilation where Liu Kang was gonna face Shao Kahn, and then these elder dogs came down from the sky, and one of them, he had a really deep voice, and he goes something like, "The fate of the realms will be decided in Mortal Kombat." And then the theme song comes on and it's sick. This is such a great comment. So thanks for the idea, KGees1542. Okay, moving on to the next. Some of these are really long, and I don't mind narrating them. They are very long and will take some time to narrate, of course, but I have to say that this the length of these. Look, this one for example. Look at that, man. It's on 2 pages. And there's another one too. Whoa, look at that. 2 whole pages I have to read out. But you know what? It's a testament to the fandom of the old Mortal Kombat games, like how it still beats in our hearts. Mortal Kombat from the Midway days. We don't accept this slop trash that we have today. Anyway, the next story is from Chris Lunaverell. Chris Lunaver Ellen. Chris Lunaver Ellen 6563. I don't know if I said your name right, but I tried. So he says, I kinda have a take on what MK11 could have been like. Instead of having Kronika being the main villain, I'll have Dark Raiden. Fantastic. Again, the first sentence. Perfect. That's how it should have been. That's how MK11 should have been. What are you doing, NRS? Anyway, it starts when Kronika shows up to rewind the timeline after Shinnok's death. Dark Raiden would sense her presence and kill her off instantly. Once Kronika dies, Dark Raiden steals the hourglass and decides to imbue it with Jinsei. I just want to butt in here. I don't mean to wreck your story. I just want to butt in here. If there's gonna be Kronika, then it can't be that she just has to be killed off and that's it. Well, she doesn't mean anything. If Kronika is in there, killing her off should set something off. For example, if Dark Raiden killed her and it really upset the balance of the realms or something, so he's made a mistake, and then he goes and tries to fix it in his dark ways, and by his dark ways maybe he terrorizes the hell out of every realm. Anyway, I don't want to butt into your story too bad, so let's carry on. Dark Raiden steals the hourglass and decides to imbue it with the Jinsei, Earthrealm's energy, and use it to recorrect his mistakes, prevent Liu Kang and Kung Lao's death, prevent Armageddon, and make even Shao Kahn cease to exist. I think that's what Liu Kang was trying to do, wasn't he, when he made Shang Tsung a seller man, a con man, and Shao Kahn diseased or whatever. Anyway, however, upon draining Earthrealm's Jinsei, would mean Earthrealm would slowly die. Nice. There's a risk there. A risk is created, so it's something to worry about in the story. So the special forces will try to stop Dark Raiden from ruining the timeline barrier. Barrier? I think that's what that says. Then as the past and present amalgamate, I need to look up what that word means. The good Raiden would ultimately try to unite all the realms together to thwart Dark Raiden's scheme, which would lead Raiden having to fight his dark counterpart, face his demons. However, good Raiden will fail, but his dark side would spare him because if he kills his past self, then he himself would cease to exist. The final battle would be Liu Kang having to fight his darkened mentor and save all of reality. In the end, Liu Kang wins, and instead of using the hourglass to rewind the conundrum again, they'll drown the hourglass in the sea of blood. The ending would be that the realms are no longer locked in war. Kung Lao takes Liu Kang's place as Earthrealm's champion, and Liu Kang would become king of Edenia and Kitana be his wife. The end. Oh, also, I would make Kung Lao and Jade be a couple because having her and Kotal Khan together doesn't make sense. You're right about that. Having her and Kotal Khan together doesn't make sense. It's weird. So I like the sound of this story, but I would change a couple of things. So the final battle would be Liu Kang having to fight his darkened mentor and save all reality. That sounds cool. In the end, Liu Kang wins, and instead of using the hourglass to rewind the conundrum, they'll drown the hourglass in the sea of blood. The problem with throwing it in the sea of blood is, apparently that sea of blood, it stretches down forever. So, there could be a story in the future where it wasn't Garrus dropped down in the bottom of the Sea of Blood. So it might happen that he runs into the hourglass at the bottom. Well, there is no bottom, but he'll run into the hourglass and then he'll try something and create Mortal Kombat 13. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe. Maybe he could turn out to be the one that was controlling Chronica all the time. Maybe Chronica was his servant. You know what? Garrus should have been the boss man. He looks cool enough to be the boss. Why did it have to be Chronica? Garrus should have been Chronica. Anyway, would make Kung Lao and Jade be a couple. This couple thing, it doesn't really matter, you know? We don't need to see couples in Mortal Kombat. Like, they're just a team of people who fight. Maybe one couple in there, okay, but no one, I don't care for it. I don't. You can, it's okay, you can. I'm not stopping you. But the couple bullshit, it just doesn't, we don't need it in Mortal Kombat. Thanks for your contribution, Chris. We have another contribution here, a nice short one from Guillermo Garcin. He says, after MK11 they should focus on the Great Kung Lao to have something new, and after MKX, Dark Raiden and Onaga should have been the main villains. The first part I agree with. It should have focused on the Great Kung Lao. They lost the opportunity to do that now. The second part, I don't see the sense of making Dark Raiden and Onaga be the main villains. Like, what's the point in making them both the villains? Is Dark Raiden gonna approach Onaga and say, hey man, I need some help and I need a really big strong dragon to help me out? Doesn't make sense to me, but thanks anyway. Next, another nice short one from Zartosh. These names. Zartosh Tagi 1440. He says, I think starting over is a better option. Not a complete reboot, but a remake, and extending the story of Mortal Kombat. For example, let's go back to MK1, the original MK1. Oh, by the way, everybody should know that I am not calling the modern Mortal Kombat 1 as Mortal Kombat 1 anymore. I don't think it deserves that name. We're not gonna call it Mortal Kombat 1 anymore. We're either gonna call it Mortal Kombat 12, or I'm gonna call it More Gay Bat 12. That's what I'm gonna call it. More Gay Bat 12. Well, technically, it's NRS's fourth Mortal Kombat game. We got 9, X, 11, and 1. So it's actually the fourth game. So it's More Gay Bat 4. I'll call it More Gay Bat 12 just to be, just for it to be easier. So, please stop calling this game Mortal Kombat 1, this modern one. The old one is Mortal Kombat 1. If you hear me say Mortal Kombat 1, I'm talking about the old one. Because the modern one is More Gay Bat 12. Thank you. Anyway, back to this here. For example, let's go back to MK1. Got a simple story about the tournament, but with more characters and more story development. It can become the greatest version of itself. Nice, simple, I like it. That's a nice suggestion. Thanks. We have a long one now from Danny Leo 5787. Danny Leo 5787 says, I see that you opened up the idea for fresh minds to weave the tales of combat. What a beautiful sentence. It sounds like something Kung Lao would say while practicing his hat moves in the field. I see that you opened up the idea for fresh minds to weave the tales of combat. And we get selections on where we can start from. Alright, no more sugarcoating. Here's my MK story, with a premise inspired by the graphic novel I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream. Enjoy the prologue. Events after MK11, Noob Saibot's arcade ending off the bat. Chronica said that... Oh, you want me to do a Noob Saibot voice? I'll try. Chronica. Chronica said that I would lead the new era's deadliest clan, but she made such promises to many. She could never keep them all, so I betrayed her before she could betray me. Why be a ruler of mortals when I can rule destiny itself? After killing and cleaving all in his wake with all... Wait, I'm supposed to read this part out. Okay. After killing and cleaving all in his wake with all his commanding darkness, he gives Chronica a fate worse than mere death. 'Cause death is just, small time. By taking her crown forcefully and casting her into the void, he observes the hourglass after killing his associates in cold-hearted murders and decapitations. Noob Saibot's curiosities and ambitions grew as he shatters this version of the hourglass. The burst of such energy becomes an immeasurable tempest of countless histories merging into Noob Saibot himself, turning abysmal obsidian of a hardening of sand, and with it the coldest truths of memories of Bihan lives, and with it the coldest truths of memories of Bihan's lives, his deaths, his devilish deeds, breaking him, remaking him. Okay, just to stop there. It's really great that you wrote a nice long story for me to read, and it's fun to try and narrate this out. But one problem I'm having is there's so many words to read. For example, he observes the hourglass after killing his associates in cold-hearted murders and decapitations. It sounds like it's too much, too many words to read, and because it's too many words to read, I don't really know what I'm reading, because it's too much to process. That's my opinion. Anyway, to continue. His screams heard to even the sea of blood as he became so much more than simply a titan. He rips the flesh of his face to ease the instrumental pain, to reveal the still yellowish charred skull from his death by Scorpion's misguided vengeance. As a new power grew uncontrollably. See, it's like too many words to read, so when I'm reading all these describer words, I forget what I'm reading. Right now, I don't know where I am while I'm reading this. Anyway, erasing the MK reboot universe in a blanketed dust of darkness coming from every pore of his very being. Only a purple flame exists now in his void. Approaching the now chained Chronica, her expression goes pale. What does pale mean? The horror in her eyes is evident as she now sees an indescribable monster before her. Her words quake. What have you done? Her well-beaten posture. Her well-beaten posture shakes in her slump as a new fear presents itself to her. Dead white eyes meet her teary gaze as his grizzled voice answers her coldly. All is dark, all are shadows, yet now, one with the sands, do I have clarity and the true depth of your depravity. Okay, I'm going to stop this story here, and the reason is I really appreciate that you took the time to write the whole story. I really do. But there's too many words to read, and I feel like all the words are not serving the purpose of telling the story. It feels like it's over the top in describing every little detail. If it was just simplified a bit more, it would be easier to read and process and digest. So thanks for your contribution, I appreciate it, but I'm going to stop here. There's a second page if anybody wants to read it. And there you have it, Napper, my selling point into the pitch. I don't have a YouTube channel sadly, but this has been a passion project for almost 3 years in the works. Noob Saibot's arcade ending is the premise for Crisis, as his entirety has now become utter hatred for everyone. No guarantees or chosen ones, and what comes next will be a reverse order of MK4 going into 1. Oh, and before I forget, look up Turbo Elysium, mashup by X Vitender, to really sell the theme song for Crisis. Okay, thanks. I hope you take my comments into consideration and maybe you can come back with a more concise story which I'm able to read and process, and it's easier to picture in my mind. So the next person we have here is Jonah71204. We didn't need a reboot after Armageddon or MKX. We needed a reboot after what MK11 did, but we didn't get a real one. MKX had a great setup with Dark Raiden, true, and the Revenants. MK11 should have had Dark Raiden declaring war against Outworld for their treachery. Chronica doesn't exist. I'll just keep MK11's Chapter 1 in this story, and then from there I can start my idea for this story. So after destroying the Netherrealm temple, Dark Raiden decides to declare war against Outworld for their treachery. Johnny tries asking Raiden what's gotten into him. He ignores him and continues doing what he's doing. He warns him to never try to interfere with what he's doing, and if he does so again, he will hurt him badly or possibly kill him. Raiden is going on a rampage, wiping out people who are a threat to Earthrealm. He's even killing Earthrealmers who commit crimes. Johnny, Jax, Kenshi, and the combat kids are thinking about what they need to do about Dark Raiden. Eventually Scorpion stands up and decides to fight Dark Raiden. That's all I got for this idea. MK11's story would have been 10,000 times better if this was the story. We get no time-traveling garbage, and Chronica, who was one of the worst villains in MK. Agreed. Your story is more interesting than whatever we got in MK11. Because of the simple fact that it should have been based on Dark Raiden. Dark Raiden should have been the center of this thing. But what happened in MK11 is, didn't he just get wiped out completely? Like, he just chopped Shinnok's head off, and then Chronica does the sand magic, and there's no more Dark Raiden anymore. What the heck? Who came up with this story idea? What are you doing? Why can't you follow a consistent line? From MK9, what happened at the end of MK9? Okay, we had Shinnok and Quan Chi. It seems like you managed to follow that consistently through. Okay? Then the end of MKX. What was it? I don't remember what happened at the end of MKX. It was Raiden took Shinnok's head and threw it at Revenant, Liu Kang, and Kitana. And then after that, in the beginning of MK11, it seems to be kind of consistent where Raiden is punishing Shinnok. But then the story goes nowhere, and it just resets with Chronica. It's ridiculous. And then at the end of MK11, nothing meant anything, and then MK1 just wipes everything out anyway. It's so dumb, it's so ridiculous. Thanks for your contribution, Jonah71204. Okay, we have a contribution from Damien Taylor 7480. I know this is gonna be good because he's in my Discord, and he comes out with some banger comments. Ever since they originally rebooted the timeline, I wanted to somehow combine them all, even including elements from the TV shows like Defenders of the Realms and Conquest, along with bringing in the new characters. Even the stupid gender swaps in a way. For example, female Sector would be Ruby from Defenders of the Realm instead, and female Cyrax would be the cyberized, reanimated body of Harumi. What a good idea. Imagine how pissed off Scorpion would be to find out that the Lin Kuei took his wife's body and reanimated it. That would just create a new revenge story. Scorpion would be like, fuck this. I'm gonna fucking bury the whole Lin Kuei by myself. That would be sick. Cyber Sub-Zero would be a cyberized, reanimated body of Bihan etc. Imagine if cyberized Sub-Zero shares his USB data with cyberized Harumi. How pissed off would Scorpion be? Oh man, I can only imagine. There would be a way to explain it by making it Chronica's timeline if she had won. Sounds good. I'd make it so for the most part that MKX took place after Armageddon, but that the MKX comics was also a proper story point, and that Taven won that free-for-all like he was supposed to, and ascended to full godhood. Exactly, at the end of Armageddon, Taven was supposed to have a big role, but he's totally wiped off the map. Where is Taven? I think there's Dagon in More Gay Bat 1's ending. MK11 would be when all the dead guys from Armageddon returned due to Chronica's machinations, and her defeat would lead to the one being getting released by Chronica's backup plan of bringing the Kamidogu to the same place with Shinnok and Onaga's help. The ending of this paragraph here is set up in a way where it makes you wonder now, okay, what's gonna happen? Now I'm wondering, okay, what would it look like if Chronica was working with Shinnok and Onaga to bring the Kamidogu back together? Thanks for your contribution, Damian Taylor. It was good. Really good. Got a contribution from Bane of Your Existence. Bane of Your Existence. He says, okay, starting at the end of MK11, we see that everything was just a simulation forged by Sector to see what would happen if the events of MKX onward took place. I like that already, because then it means none of it was real. Nice. He then makes a decision to come out and create cyber ninjas of all the fighters, which starts the cyber age, where the fighters have to win their bodies back from Sector through the final MK tournament. You've created an evil plot with Sector, and you've created a big risk for all the fighters that they're gonna lose their bodies if they don't do something about it. Very nice. At the end, it's seen he survives and nukes the planet through self-destruct, thus ending Mortal Kombat forever. An interesting ending, and I put in my replies about how, okay, what if the planet's exploded bits are floating all around space, and the body bits, the robotic cybernetic body bits of Sector are floating all in between too, but they're still sentient and alive or something, and they grip to the pieces of the earth and try to join it back together, you know, like how cells form. And then they end up recreating a whole robotic cybernetic planet filled with robots, ruled by a machine king. And that Machine King is the final boss of Mortal Kombat. And you have to... And there's a conquest where you have to create your fighter out of machine bits and cybernetic parts. And maybe somewhere on the planet there's somehow a way that normal people are born. Actually, no. There's no more normal people on this planet anymore. Everyone is a cybernetic being. So everyone has something crazy going on with them. And it's just a new world. I think Havoc would be pleased with this kind of chaos. He wouldn't be pleased with the order of everything joining back together. Oh, would he? I don't know. Thanks for your contribution, Bane of Your Existence. It was a good read too. Okay, we have one from Ninja Ronin who says, I'm actually thinking of writing an MK story on my own. It's basically the 2021 film, but done right. It's going to be a comic also. That's a good idea. I've thought many times about drawing and writing a comic, and I'm practicing my comic drawing skills before I actually get into drawing. I have so much ideas which I want to bring out, but I need to be able to draw them correctly and make them look sleek, not just like some artist at home drew them. As for a sequel to Armageddon, I would make Taven be the victor, and the effect of killing Blaze would be making the characters more powerful. Great idea. and it would also restore Liu Kang, who would fight Raiden due to him being ruthless and making questionable decisions. He wins and becomes the Fire God and would leave Kung Lao to be the next champion. I would let some characters of the MK4 and MKD cast alive and add some of the NRS era like Erron Black, Scarlet, Kotal, Ferrator, but actually do something with them and have Onaga or Shinnok or even Raiden as the main antagonists. I like it. Again, sounds more interesting than the slap that Netherrealm gave us, which has, if you look at their more gay Bat 12, what really happened in the end? So they repeated Armageddon all over again, and then at the end, this time, they saved Armageddon. They saved the world from Armageddon by doing what? By defeating Titan Shang Tsung. What is Armageddon in more gay Bat 12? What is it? Armageddon seems to be where one realm is just attacking another. That's what Armageddon is. So you're gonna have many Armageddons, whereas Armageddon actually is supposed to mean the end. This is the final battle. Why am I trying to put logic and sense into more gay Bat 12? I don't know. Thanks for your contribution, Ninja Ronin. Next, Cryptic. Cryptic Gamer says, you could always do a story mode for the NRS games on the hardest mode. So if you lose, you have to watch the cutscene again for more pain. That's a great idea. For torturing myself on stream for the pleasure of the viewers. The viewers are gonna think, oh, Napper, you can't lose every time. I can't just stay here and watch this crap with you every single time. It depresses me as well. Can you win some matches, please, so we can just get this over and done with? Or better yet, why are you even playing More Gay Bat 1? The More Gay Bat is starting to flow off my tongue now. More Gay Bat. I need to practice it. More Gay Bat. More Gay Bat. More Gay Bat. More Gay Bat. I tried to do a gay version of the song. Oh, another long one. I love the passion. I love it. Before I do this one, I need to take a quick sip of my Rooibos herbal tea. Okay. This one's from The Mask 235, who says, I don't usually comment, but I love writing stories and the old school Mortal Kombat, especially its mythos. Excellent start. My idea for a game would be to ignore Armageddon and treat it as a what-if battle royale game, like Tekken Tag Tournament. Not bad. Where the content isn't canon to the actual franchise story. This would make all NRS games non-canon as well, since they all rely on Armageddon at the start of their story. Shake my hand, brother. That's what I want to hear. We need all of NRS stories just blown into the dust. We just need Raiden to wake up one day or something, or even Sector, like another commenter said. Sector wakes up and realizes, oh, that was just a simulation we were going through. My story would center around the concept of chaos and the tendency of life towards entropy. Interesting. The main villain would be the mysterious three-headed chaos god, Kochal. Yes, he knows Kochal. I met Kochal. Well, I didn't meet Kochal. I tried to get to Kochal, only to realize that Kochal, once I completed it after all the struggle, I was excited, like thinking, oh yes, let's see what this thing is, which I never saw in Conquest. And then when I finally unlocked it, I realized I have done this before, and then I realized that Kochal actually means coin challenge. I got 1,000 Onyx coins for that. But yeah, I'd like to see this three-headed chaos god Kochal, whose shrine is present in the Netherrealm in Deception, and who sent the tempest that turned Chaos Realm into what it is. I would use the character to explore the cosmology of Mortal Kombat, with Kochal being the vessel of outer entities from the void. This is actually very interesting to read. While the Elder Gods are revealed to be a clique of outer entities that are parasitically benefiting from the one being slumber and their dominance over his fractured consciousness. That is actually an interesting twist to these Elder Freaks, because they haven't really been helpful, have they? They've always been distant and kind of trickster-like, seeing as what they did to Scorpion after he served them. Anyway, while the entities in the void are ravenous intelligences that seek to devour all of reality out of a primal hunger. Naturally, the Elder God Cabal. Is this a different Cabal? It's not the Cabal that we know, right? Cabal. Would be a syndicate consuming the one being slowly and farming his energy through their elaborate systems of control. This would create conflict with their destructive siblings who are not part of the clique and are attempting to undermine their control through their primal hunger. Kochal will serve to do the opposite of Onaga, who sought to unify reality into himself. Now what would Onaga do? Because I'm just thinking about it now. If Onaga succeeded in merging all of reality within himself, what would he do then? Because it's just him being the one being and that's it. He's just there and there's nothing else. What's he gonna do to keep himself entertained? Will he be able to create? Anyway, Kochal will seek to dissolve reality into nothingness. The story will take place immediately after Shujinko defeats the Dragon King, with several of the arcade endings coming true in different ways. Raiden becomes a villain, attacks Shujinko after defeating Onaga. Scorpion becomes a champion of the Elder Gods and is sent by the Elder Gods to defeat and capture Raiden. Shujinko becomes guardian of the Kamidogu and is rewarded with his lost youth. That's nice. I like to see that something is happening with Shujinko after he reaches an old age and he has all that experience. I'm hoping that with this story he has his lost youth. He has his lost youth returned to him, but he also retains all the knowledge and experience and power he's gained. I'm sure he does. The game would also involve Havoc inciting wars and conflicts out of an inexplicable compulsion to bring chaos, such as Sado, where he is responsible for Darius hiring Dairu to steal the Constitution, a relic of order that allows the wielder to impose whatever patterns they desire onto reality, which sparks a civil war between the new order of the revolutionaries and the old order of the conservatives. Interesting. Havoc intensifies the Outworld civil war by resurrecting Shao Kahn, who regains command of the Imperium. Havoc further intensifies things by resurrecting the mummified army of the Dragon King from the ruins of Shang Tsung's palace, along with the leader and Onaga's general. This general would be in a state of torpor. That's a new word for me, I need to look that up. In a state of torpor in the inner sanctum room, and later be revealed to be one of the gods of Outworld. Interesting. This would turn the Outworld civil war into a three-way conflict. You've created a whole game right there. You've created a whole story and game right there. Nice job. Now it looks like Liu Kang is getting involved, and I like when Liu Kang gets involved. Liu Kang would reunite with his body, gain spectral abilities from his time as a spirit, Liu Kang, Ermac, Kenshi, and Nightwolf will each be visited by apparitions or visions compelling them to go to Kenshi's ancestral estate. Liu Kang would be visited by visions of the abandoned castle. Ermac would be visited by the ghostly apparition of a shadowy figure, robed with stars, who hints at being the consciousness of the one being that Ermac can vaguely sense. And it's very interesting that you've chosen Ermac to be the one that vaguely senses, because he's a mysterious character. There's like, I don't know, 1,000,000 souls inside him, 1,000 souls, and we don't know what's going on inside him or who these souls are. So there's plenty of storytelling to do with Ermac. Nightwolf is visited by the Great Spirit, who is an elder god. That makes sense. And Kenshi receives visions from Sento to fulfill the blood pact his ancestors made to Kochal in times long past. The four are sent on a journey to ruins of the ancient ruins of the Eurasian kingdom by Fujin. I think I'm on the next part. Raiden would have embraced his darkness fully and been expelled by Fujin from Earthrealm, fleeing the wrath of the Elder Gods. He retreats to Netherrealm, compelled to travel to the deepest corner of the lowest layer. Now that's interesting. What would Raiden do in the deepest corner, in the deepest layers of the Netherrealm? Because he doesn't have his powers there, does he? So I'm interested to see what's Raiden doing down there. Following the call of a distant voice, even coming across an imprisoned Onaga who mocked his new darkness and warns him of the dark secret the Elder Gods have locked away. The same dark influence appears to be causing the Oni to become wilder, causing the civilized places in hell. Civilized places in hell, now that's a new one. Can there be such a thing? Causing the civilized places in hell to close their borders, basically making Shinnok worried and cautious for once, as he seems to be aware of some dark influence in the horizon of his fallen empire. Scorpion, now a divine spectre of holy fire, would find himself at home with his family and clan in the heavens, and would later uncover the dark secrets of the Elder Gods that make him question his allegiance. Sub-Zero would take on Hydro as his new apprentice. This just keeps getting more and more interesting. And will begin to hear a voice calling to him through the armor, warning him of the coming conflict. I think there's a bit too much of people hearing voices from somewhere. Like, it seems to be everybody's motivation is they're hearing a voice from here, they're hearing a voice from there, and they're just going ahead and following it. No one's questioning their voice that's calling them. No one's conversing with the voice. They're just hearing a voice and they're following it. And that seems to be what's motivating this story. So maybe that could be looked at and changed around a little bit. The voice will be revealed later to be Onaga. It will be revealed that Argus, the elder god of order, is the secret benefactor of the Red Dragon clan, and has been using them to develop cybernetic technology as a means to impose order as a contingency against Kochal. The Red Dragon will be revealed as responsible for the cybernetics program with the Lin Kuei, and that Sector goes to them after his expulsion to gain further tech. The Red Dragon gives him the technology from Project Takunin to allow him to forcibly convert people into cyborgs and enslave them into a collective hive mind. Later in the story, the Elder God Argus interfaces the hive mind and takes direct command, using their warships and personnel to intervene in all conflicts throughout the realms and pacify them through forcibly converting combatants into the hive mind. I do have to say there's a bunch of things going on in the story, and that's a good thing. That's just like how Mortal Kombat is. Multiple things happen at different times, where lots of people are in their own missions, doing their own things. Cobra would be left for dead, lose his memory, and be found by Blaze, whose secret lifelong mission will commence. Cobra, in his amnesia, will become Aaron Black and become a gun-toting adventurer, surviving the wastes of Outworld as an outlaw and a bounty hunter with Blaze. I don't mind that at all. Cobra becoming Aaron Black, that sounds like it could work. It gives Cobra something to develop into. Shang Tsung will reform his presence. After being destroyed in Raiden's explosion in a lava shrine temple, with the priests being in possession of his phylactery. That's another new word. I've never come across this word before. I'll have to look this up too. Phylactery. Am I saying that right? And compelling him to do their bidding. Johnny Cage will be sought out by Mocap. Mocap has a purpose. By Mocap, who will be revealed to be an avatar of the One Being. Well, you know what? That's really interesting because Mocap is actually an avatar of the motion capture guy. Literally, he is. So, imagine the One Being is somebody in real life. Actually, somebody in real life, you know, is the One Being. And that, when the characters are referring to the One Being, who is the person in real life, it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall. That'll be crazy. This part's a bit funny because you can misconstrue this because it's not explained. Alright, Mocap, who will be revealed to be an avatar of the One Being, each of his balls representing a world of possibility within the One Being's subconscious mind. I think we need to explain what balls you're talking about. I know, I need to grow up. Mocap writes a screenplay of the events of the story before they happen, which Johnny Cage acts out. This later serves to be prophetic in how the heroes ultimately overcome the forces of evil in the story. There's a lot of other ideas I have, I bet you do, but I'll leave it here, and I know this is long, but I'm really passionate about old school MK. I hope you like my ideas. I do like your ideas. Some slight things just need a little work, but overall it's very interesting. It shows that these kinds of stories, they show that Midway fans, Midway MK fans, real MK fans, they have that fiery passion for Mortal Kombat, and they really want to see it expand and explode. The fact that you brought Kochal back as something, I really liked that. That was good. Even Danny Leo, his story is long too, and I can see the passion in him. It's just the story was a little bit hard to read, so I couldn't go on with that one. Okay, we have one from Batboy the Cool, who was very excited to take part in this fun little project. He says, "Here's my random pitch for MK11. Keep Dark Raiden." I thought it was about to say keep Dark Raiden dark. Keep Dark Raiden. NRS could have gone all in and give us an entertaining story of a fallen god that becomes what he hated. I'd imagine Dark Raiden would be so corrupted by the amulet, and he'd ration to keep Earthrealm safe by any means. This means he'd wipe out potential threats, which includes allies. Now that's dark. Dark Raiden would be so corrupt that he'd eliminate Earthrealmers for any petty crimes. How petty are we talking? What if they stole an apple and didn't pay the 5 cents that it might have cost? Or 50 cents? Would he blast them into oblivion with his bzzzt? It'd be like, come on Raiden, that's a bit over the top, don't you think? And then he'd blast me too. Which would escalate further as the story continues. The main cast would eventually challenge Dark Raiden to a Mortal Kombat in a gauntlet style, where Dark Raiden would have to fight each character one-on-one. I wonder how that would work in a game. Would you be playing as Dark Raiden and you'd be fighting every single character? Or would you be playing every single character and losing to Dark Raiden? He should kill a few characters, at least 3, and as the fight goes on, his flaws would be shown. I imagine 2 alternative endings to this. Either they'd find a way to save Raiden from his corruption, which I want Raiden to be saved, or they'd probably kill him off, which would cause another problem or threat for the next game story to address. You know what? That one is even more interesting because imagine they kill him off. Now there's no more Raiden. Raiden was the one who used to guide the Earthrealmers to, okay, this is what we do next, this is where we go. You need to take on this person, that person. Well, that guide is gone now. Now what? These Earthrealmers are gonna have to grow up. Even more than they already are. So, a chance for them to learn wisdom. Thanks, it's a great contribution, Batboy. Another long one, but it looks like it's summarized in each character, so that's good. Let's see, we can judge this character by character. Why are you reading my nickname? 8158 says, I'll just give a basic overview of every major character's story. Liu Kang, reunited with his body, he's helping Kitana in Edenia, but he's feeling guilty for his actions as a zombie. Okay, simple, I guess. Kitana, new Queen of Edenia after Sindel died during the Battle of Armageddon. Jade, Taven and Ermac now fully controlled by Jared. He also absorbed souls of Sindel and fallen heroes into himself. Are her advisors. When you say Jared, from reading what I just read, I assume you're saying Jared from Morgay Gaybat 12, as in Ermac. Well, I am hesitant and reluctant to take any ideas from Morgay Gaybat 12 and develop off of them because they have a shit foundation. So, that's all I can say about that. Sub-Zero, he's training to become stronger so that he could descend into Netherrealm and restore Noob Saibot. His allies are Serena and Smoke, who's the only remaining cyborg. It's funny because it's like an ice cube going into an oven. He's really gonna have to train to not melt in there. Scorpion, banished into the Netherrealm for declaring war on the Elder Gods. Man, he should declare war on them for what they did to him. Just like Kratos. And is being pursued by Noob and his forces. Eventually teams up with Sub-Zero and helps him in his mission. Okay, the teaming up with Sub-Zero part, it's okay, but it reminds me of the piece of shit game Morgay Gaybat 11. I don't like Sub-Zero and Scorpion's relationship in that game. I don't even like Scorpion's stupid face. So, I don't know. I think Scorpion should go his own way, Sub-Zero should go his own way. And sometimes they meet, and maybe, I don't know, there's a horde of Netherrealm enemies and Scorpion and Sub-Zero just happen to meet, and they're like, let's team up, and they kick some ass. And then, when they're done kicking ass, they shake hands, and then go their separate ways. That's how I think it should be. I don't think they should buddy up and be like pen pals and they hold each other's hands wherever they go. Noob Saibot, new ruler of the Netherrealm. Malak and Dramin are his top enforcers. Is that all he could find in the Netherrealm? Possibly also allied with Nitara and Vaeternus. Okay. Ashra still trying to kill Noob Saibot while also being pursued by demons and vampires. Simple. Fine. Raiden banished to the Netherrealm for his actions. Okay. In similar way to Shinnok. Now that's interesting. Will Raiden become the new Shinnok? Because that now opens the doors to, Shinnok was banished. He used to be an Elder God. What was his previous life as an Elder God? What was he doing? Was he good? Was he actually good? And there was this part in Morgate Gabat 11 where he said that he just spoke up against the Elder Gods and they banished him. So, was Shinnok actually on a righteous mission? See, it's interesting. That should be explored. A prequel to Shinnok's story, I'd like to see that. I want to see what he's really about. Now it's up to him whether he'll try to redeem himself or he will continue descending deeper into darkness. Cool. Fujin. New protector of Earthrealm. Okay. It's funny because I was trying to talk about Fujin the other day in my other video and I couldn't think of anything to say about him either. Kung Lao, leader and mentor of the new generation of Earthrealm heroes. I like it. Shujinko, new Shaolin Grandmaster. I think he's more than a Shaolin Grandmaster. He's like a Grandmaster of every single fighting style. He's his own class. He's beyond the Shaolin. He should open his own school and call it Shujinlin. The way of the Shujinko. The way of Shujinko. That should be his fighting style. And no one can do his fighting style except for him. And then it would go down in legend as the legendary fighting style of Shujinko. What is the legendary fighting style of Shujinko, Dad? Well, son, that's a real story right there. Shujinko the legend was a man who could do any fighting style and mastered all of them. All of them? Yes, all of them. He could freeze, he could throw a spear, he could do mantis style, he could do all kinds of things, but the only thing he couldn't do was figure out that he was being deceived. And 2, he'll just do whatever you ask him to do. Is that how kind he was, Dad? Shujinko was a legend. A legend. And then maybe some Mortal Kombat character can come out and be like, you know what? I want to be the one to learn Shujinko's fighting style. And then people tell him, it's impossible. No one can learn Shujinko's fighting style. Shujinko mastered all fighting styles. And then the kid will be like, so will I. And then he tries and he fails because he doesn't know that to master Shujinko's fighting style, you need the power of absorbing fighting styles. That was a nice little tangent to go off into. Anyway, Johnny and Sonya, they are married now. I wonder who married them. Sonya is promoted to General of SF after Jax's death in Armageddon. Okay. Nightwolf. Still doing Nightwolf things. Cool. Cabal. After killing both Kano and Mavado, he leads new merged clan of Black and Red Dragon clan. When all this grammar is messed up, I can't read it properly. Okay, I'll try and read it with my own grammar. After killing both Kano and Mavado, he leads a newly merged clan of Black and Red Dragon members, and they're terrorizing Orderrealm on Havoc's behalf. I wonder how much money Havoc has to pay all these people. But he can't be paying people because wouldn't that be a sense of order to pay people? So what would Havoc do to convince people to do all this stuff? Maybe he'd lie to them. Maybe lying is chaotic. Although Cabal is not too happy about this, what's he doing it for if he's not happy? And there are hints of a redemption arc for him. I mean, if you're going around killing people with a terrorist clan. Okay. Havoc grew more powerful than ever before thanks to Armageddon's chaos. Now he's playing 3D chess, trying to throw all other realms into chaos so that he could feed on it. Not actually conquer them, because that's not what Havoc is about. NRS. I like that little dig at NRS. What does NRS stand for? Nether retard suckers. Nether region slobberers. Not so radical. Not really smart. That's what Netherrealm. That's what NRS stands for. Not really smart. Kenshi. He's currently in Order Realm trying to stop new dragon mega clan, but also trying to gain better control of his powers. How the fuck is he gonna stop them all by himself with his blindfold? Good luck to him. Hotaru. He's still a dick. He really was a dick, wasn't he? All he ever did in Deception was go into people's affairs and inject his law and pump his law into their business. That's what makes him a dick. Dairu leads Order Realm resistance after Darius' death. He's fighting for both against the regime. He's fighting both against the regime and dragons. What dragons? Goro, new ruler of Outworld who's trying to de-Shao Kahnize it after Shao Kahn's death. His allies are Reptile, Li Mei, and Bo Raicho. Good luck trying to do all that shit with these people. Why don't you get your Shokan army and do something with it? What are you gonna do with Reptile? Reptile? Okay. Melina. Another ruler of Outworld. How many rulers does Outworld have? Are they rulers of different provinces? Who's trying to preserve her father's legacy? What a loser. Her allies are Baraka, Reiko, and Motaro. I think she should just die. Dagon. He's planning a secret behind-the-scenes scheme alongside Rain and Tanya, but their goal is for now ambiguous. All of the characters died in Armageddon, rip to all of them. That was entertaining to read. Thanks for your contribution. Why are you reading my nickname? 8158. And that looks like it's all of them. I'm pretty sure I've read all of them because I got all the comments off the post. I remember Cyan Saber Knight writing something too. Look, I'm in the comments here. I'm looking for Cyan Saber Knight. And anyone else who might have put their story. Did I read this one? I did read this one. See, I have them all here and I've been reading them. I thought I had more than this. Anyway, that was a fun experience and I appreciate everyone's efforts in trying to put together their stories for me to read out. We Midway fans, we have a lot of heart and passion. Not like these new Netherrealm studio retards. Anyway, thanks for your contributions. I really appreciate reading your stories. We Mortal Kombat fans will stick together. We'll keep doing what we do. We'll play old Mortal Kombat. We'll come up with stories. We'll practice our drawings. We'll make our comics. Something will happen one day. You know, Mortal Kombat can't stay with NRS forever. Fuck them, NRS. Thanks everybody. Maybe I'll see you next time in another video like this.